let's get ourselves set up right quick and then dive into some crazy, crazy new, well, explorations, as we sort of titled this live stream. We somehow, I don't know, last night we were sitting in meditation after a very powerful and beautiful microdose experience. Went for a very long hike and we found ourselves sit at the top of this viewpoint. There's this viewpoint that I sometimes go and explore. And as I go on this hike, it's about a 10-20 minute hike that I go up to the very top of the mountain that overlooks all of Coquitlam and really just all of the lower mainland. And after, yeah, I did this hike, so much interesting perspective flowed through. I found myself just buzzing with energy. And as I returned to my household, sat in meditation for an extended period of time, I kind of just thought to myself, I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. What if, by all means, what if I could somehow hook up this sound that I've explored in the tonal amp in the sound hole? It was like, what if I could somehow very simply just hook up this sound externally into a microphone? Turns out I can do that. So that just blew my mind. So I'm going to just quickly bring to life my full setup here, as we do. Got a preamp, got our whole roving setup or remote setup right here. And yeah, the key essence of this is really wild. Like what I can do with this new discovery of how I can utilize the tonal amp. I gotta say, the tonal amp, man, is such an extraordinary device. And discovering this recent discovery with this preamp is insane. I figured out, long story short, as I kind of just underlined offline or when people were not present, I discovered you can actually hook up a microphone externally. Like, you set up the entire setup and you can actually plug the microphone right into the tonal amp and produce the exact effect that you produce on the guitar for a microphone. And you can actually do this with any guitar. Basically, it operates as basically a external preamp that can be plugged into anything, any microphone, and then the microphone can pick up any sound, anything, record it through the amp, through the tonal amp, through a loop pedal to create loops in an extremely elaborate way. You can do pan flute through the thing, basically the things that I've been doing where I've been, using the guitar sound hole and directing audio into it. I can do so through an external microphone, and it sounds even better, and it's even crisper, and it's even easier. I can weave together drum sounds, I can do external instruments, I can actually even plug my tonal amp directly into my electric guitar, which is crazy. Something I never thought I could do. It's actually game changer. So let me just quickly set up what my setup is. And I'm going to show you what I kind of was exploring. It's honestly crazy. It's like everything is just suddenly, it's evolved to a whole nother level. I can always tell when they don't real dinosaurs. Interesting. Interesting. Classic. Okay. Didn't ask, but yes. Let's see. So we got, of course, loop pedal, beauty, preamp, beautiful Black Star fly amp. And as we are, you can see this angle is kind of an unorthodox angle because, of course, we've got our beautiful, very lightweight tripod here. For those of you guys, if you ever I'm looking for like a really good tripod, I forgot the brand, and basically go on Amazon, and it's like it's like $30 for this lightweight portable tripod. It compresses into about that. Best tripod I've ever owned, hands down. It's just lightweight, perfect size, perfect, collapsible ability. It's dope as fuck. It's exactly what you would ever want in a tripod, truthfully. live. Yeah. There we are. So as we woke up this morning too, we were exploring a lot of these weird chord shapes that complement this alternate drop B tuning that we kind of discovered. Let's see how we go. So we got drop B. Yeah, it's like using triads that are complementing. Let's see if we're in full. Yeah, make sure we're in proper. Wicked. But yeah, as we were briefly underlining, let's maybe quickly drink all this cacao so we are set. Free bird, man. I get it's a meme, but I mean, I love the. I gotta maybe re-listen to Freebird and understand why people, meme it up so much. It really gets to the bottom of why it's so heavily, desired. All right. So basically, part of what my excitement is, for the longest time, I've been kind of underlining that I've been searching and researching into vocal plugins. Well, guess what? I figured out, of course, this is a part of my recent exploration. I have my microphone here, right? And instead of having to say direct audio, be like, gotta kind of warm that up. But the idea is I can actually just take my microphone and plug the input while it's all plugged in here. And use these as loops in any sound I desire. So it's like, as I would say, hit a loop. Trying to aim it in B. And then I couldn't even. Using the entirety of the intoned amp in a complete, perfectly landed way. I can even say, I'm like, you know what, let's try to save this. I don't know how that's going to be received, but we'll see. And then I just have to basically plug myself, back in and be like, all right, well, let's rehook the guitar. Yeah, it kind of picks up on the drum sound. I don't think it creates the most authentic drum sound. I think I gotta kind of tinker around with it, but let us continue this process. Maybe go and save our fresh loop. Go back to the beginning of this loop. Honestly, all I can say is, I've just explored this last night when I was like falling asleep. I just woke up and I was like, just got up, was meditating. I was like, man, why have I not thought of this before? That I can just hook up the microphone directly into the input of the tone ramp and then just loop it through that. And it's insane because I've been wanting to do this for so long. I've been like, if there's a way to hook up these effects that I use through the guitar into a microphone, and then now the microphone can pick up anything and I can loop it through that with anything. And I can do all this while I'm busking, can do all this while I'm roving. It doesn't require a studio setup. It's all just there, remotely. It can just create so much dimension seamlessly. Like I genuinely can make extremely elaborate, full compositional ideas, pan flute, vocals, guitar, violin, everything, all perfectly mastered, all looped, then just do it anywhere I want to go. And of course, being in this beautiful drop B alternate makes it kind of special and unique in whatever it is I do. Heath Ledger. Very nice. Yeah, bro. Honestly, Heath Ledger, I gotta say, it's so funny. Like, before I was really just like constantly referenced, or people would tell me like, "Yo, it's Heath Ledger. He looks like this guy." I swear, it's kind of invited me to actually just go and get to learn and understand more about who he is. Like, really, just figure out who he really is in the deepest sense. And I gotta say, the more I learn about Heath Ledger, the dude is such a gem, man. He's such a like intelligent, grounded, mature soul for what he did. Like acting wise, his like beliefs, dude from Perth, Australia. He just had such a interesting energy that I just really appreciate. It almost feels like so kindred. Like it really feels like the dude had a very similar energy, but of course completely unique in his own right. And honestly, just the more I explore his like cinema and kind of just hear his interviews and kind of even just like sometimes, again, I've talked about this weirdly, when I'm on psychedelics, for whatever reason, sometimes my mind naturally it does accents. It's not like intentional, it just happens. It's just like if I'm on doses of shrooms, I kind of like do this weird like Johnny Depp impression. It's not like an impression for him, but I speak in a similar tone as he does when he is in a character. And I do the same thing sometimes with Heath Ledger for some reason. Like Heath Ledger, when he's like almost like, I don't know if you guys know the movie, what's it called? Lords of Dogtown. Lords of Dogtown. Heath Ledger plays what's his name? What's the character's name? Slick? No, something. Whatever his name is, he's playing that like character that's kind of like a weird, kind of like hippie dude who's a surfer, but he owns a surf shop, and it's an interesting character. But for whatever reason, like Heath has that sort of signature way that he speaks, almost like he's trying to like, almost like you hear it in the Joker too. He like mutters. He's like muttering. He's not like speaking, but he's going kind of speaking like this, or no, that's like John. I don't know. He's speaking like a muttering tone. I can't really do it, but it's like I always find it's a very unique thing that Heath just naturally does, and for whatever reason, it kind of sometimes gets stuck in my head where I'm just like, yeah, he does it in pretty much all of the characters he does. It's like he's kind of muttering, but like playfully. Like it's like he's just kind of speaking like I don't even know how to describe it, like a dude from maybe like the 70s or the 80s. Anyway, interesting character, Heath. So as we're gonna try to explore. Let me finish this cacao before it gets too late. But yeah, I found myself explore organically, this drop beat tuning with these crazy new loops, with these crazy new vocal dimensions, and particularly aiming into the lower chords. And I feel like I can do some crazy loops, which I was doing a lot yesterday, but I think I could do some crazy, beautiful loops. And some like low chord arpeggios, like kind of like maybe like something there, like triads. Maybe like, what were we doing? Yeah. introduction, of course, to this beautiful chord. Really emphasizing that open B, of course. Okay, our bottom chord went a bit out. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so got this loop that we made that we can kind of tinker around with, but wow, so much weird potential that I feel is just like unexplored within this new domain that I've been talking about. It's like, say we are just chilling, right, as we kind of just did a moment ago. Do some layers. We're just like, all right. Like a background vocal, like a backtrack that we can literally now even harmonize extremely easily. That's kind of what I've been thinking a lot, is just harmonies. Harmonies upon harmonies. Just creates so much dimension. Find the right key. Can get so elaborate where it's so easy to create dimension, I feel, with this. Because it's just naturally creating, like, I don't know how to describe it. The pure tone. And I swap it in, swap it back. There's gotta be a way I can kind of like equip this, maybe. Like lock this in here so it's nice and tight in there. So it's ready to kind of be plugged back. I don't know. We'll find a way. Yeah. Hello, friend. Fourth like. Nice. Relaxing. Thank you. Honestly, it's blown my mind how just the feeling. Nice. A trophy. Magic. It's just like this element of discovering, you know, this preamp setup. Everything is immediately mastered, which is always beautiful. You know, interfaces, audio setups, or mastered like studio setups show us just how palatable you can make music sound, but it's like it's all perfectly flows, like it all is on the same level of mastery. It's almost like, imagine, you know, it's like you have an audio engineer that's like sitting there and equalizing and mastering everything, right? That's like what they do. They're sitting there trying to dial in all the little nuances, like, okay, is this streaming to this, is this overwhelming this, is this part clipping, is this part not clipping? It's all being equally mastered by the same thing, which is the tone wood amp. You know, this beautiful thing. Because it is all being streamed through the tone wood amp. So it's almost like having a masterful studio engineer or audio engineer, just master each part as I'm now independently streaming together. It's brilliant. It's honestly crazy. And even when you're looping it, it's even more valid, where it's like, it just becomes this cohesive, finished piece of music you can create on the fly. I can still definitely dial in little things and turn down little elements. Still gotta warm up, but yeah. I think we'd benefit from doing a bit of this. 5-minute song by Sek Loso. Interesting. Huh. And message retracted. Sweet. I don't know why exactly. What occurred there or what's that? I don't know if YouTube did that naturally. Man, what an interesting number of days. I mean, full disclosure, I was kind of talking at the start of this thing where I went on this interesting sort of quest where I hiked to the top of this viewpoint and was like meditating. And basically, I had this very powerful realization where I was like looking at my own reality lately and looking at how I was like processing a lot of things, a lot of like energy and emotions. And I got to this core place where I realized part of me was sitting with a lot of anger. It's a sacred emotion, I would say. Anger is like a sacred emotion that was just manifesting over the course of like months, transitioning into a lot of things. I was processing, integrating things related to my father and sort of like elements that I can't, it's just, there're just so many things that were weighing on me. And I was kind of, the cardinal thing I realized is a huge part of me, because I spend a lot of time alone. I spend a lot of time chilling in the forest. I go and busk, I see friends, I dance, and I work on my business and etc. But I kind of realized that part of what I've been unconsciously really desiring to seek is basically, and this kind of makes sense in my mind when he writes, is engaging in new athletic disciplines that are parts of communities that have healthy embodiments of masculine energy. I kind of saw that so clearly where I was like, I think I'm gonna go, because I have a friend of mine that I saw on the beach, where I commonly go. And he actually told me he started training jiu-jitsu, and this was like a month or two ago. And he was telling me he's like training for jiu-jitsu competitions, and I was like, oh, word, I've been training jiu-jitsu for like 5-6 years, but I haven't in years since like COVID really, and all these elements. And he invited me to go to his studio. He was like, yeah, brother, you should come there. It's a really chill place. It's a really awesome place, and it's near the beach that I go to, Rec. It's like very close in proximity. So I kind of had this powerful realization when I was in meditation, chilling at this viewpoint. I was like, I need to, even if it's just for a class, I think I need to go and take up my friend's offer and be in the studio. And I also was telling myself, like, I need to go to a capoeira class that I've been kind of thinking about but putting off. Like, my mind kind of just crystallized this vision. I was like, I think I need to realize that my efforts and my resources can go further. And part of it was kind of exciting to think, I was like, I have money that I save, and I get money, little blips, like small amounts that I make through these streams and through just content creation and busking and whatever. Not a lot, but it's like, I kind of realized, I was like, I think part of what I need is like a powerful motivator. Like if I'm like, all right, I'm going to pay $150 per month for like a jiu-jitsu class, or, start to invest in some sort of like elaborate fitness training studio, I think that would be a beautiful way to invest, the way that I'm receiving resources and reinvest in myself and surround myself with, kindred individuals. And really at the heart of it, surround myself and really experience more healthy embodiments of brotherhood, of masculine energy, which I think, in many rights, that's kind of where my mind has been going. I've been like, in many rights, overwhelmed And this is no secret, like if you've been a part of this channel for some time, I'm a massive proponent of understanding, healing, and integrating masculine energy. Like it's a thing that I've spent last 6 7 years of my life devoting it to understanding masculine energy, about understanding energy dynamics as a whole, and understanding how to transmute energy and all these different parts. That's all basically somatic and energetic healing, and all relates to as a man, masculine energy, and of course feminine energy, but primarily that. That was very coarse. Anyways, the essence of it is I just came to realize this. And maybe that resonates with some of you in some regard, maybe doesn't, I don't know. It's, I think, important to understand, in the simplest right, like if you're just surrounded by, say, your family, your immediate family, or, your friend circle, or whomever you're around, you are consciously, unconsciously absorbing the energies, the narratives of who you're around. If you're around nobody, which is, consequently, that's your choice. Solitude is beautiful, but community is also beautiful. You become sort of consumed or more of influenced by that, I'd say, that interpretation or embodiment of what that is. Almost like if you're surrounded by family or people in your life that are really just not, I would say, healthy, integrated embodiments of, say, masculine energy or feminine energy. It doesn't mean necessarily this is like, I'd say, the entire livelihood of how you can desire to show up or embody yourself. But you, on some subconscious level, you need to let yourself be surrounded by people that are operating from a different place. People that are just showing up, healthy, integrated examples of both feminine and masculine energy. And even further, kind of relevant to what I've been talking about a lot lately, this is something I've been thinking a lot on Silas side, is it's important on a deep level to surround yourself and recognize that we are absorbing the energies of people that are either operating out of a lot of fear or are operating out of, a love-based thing that is penetrating fear. It's almost like if you're surrounding yourself by people that are filled with fear-based narratives, which is honestly, as I've come to understand with sitting with a lot of medicine, that is the epicenter of so much struggling, suffering, indifference, a lot of negative, disintegrated narratives is literally just simply the product of fear. It's like you can be like, but it's this, that, the essence of the root of what a lot of people are operating at, if it's like really negative and is just not serving them, it's causing sort of like a malalignment, is fear. So it's like if you're surrounding yourself by people that are operating out of fear, like that's just their default, and that's all you see is you're surrounded by yourself with people, bless their hearts, who knows why they're in your life for whatever reason, and that are operating with a fear-based narrative, you absorb that. Your mind on some level thinks, but, it's almost like your mind subconsciously, it just desires to sort of project that into the world and think that, men or women or XYZ people or people as a whole are, subsequently going to default into fear. That's not how people are, though. People have the capacity, many people, men and women. This is why I love the fitness community particularly. Is people every day are showing up in different places and capacities from a mentality that penetrates fear, from a place that's healthy, from a place that's, desiring to grow and expand and evolve. Every day, there are people in various, places. You'll find them in, gyms, fitness facilities. You'll find them in, I don't know, wherever they are, wherever people gather. Just recognize that there are people that have penetrated fear. Maybe it's even on the online sphere in some regard. But it's like there are people that are, living their life and circulating healthy narratives that are beyond fear. And whether it's embodied in masculine energy, feminine energy, I think it's important to absorb that. And whether you're conscious of it or not, you are often absorbing that. You're projecting that. You know, if all you see is men in your life that are operating of a sort of like a fear-based narrative, they're locked into programming. You could be on a quest where, like, you know what? I know who I am. I'm on this arduous, beautiful path. But if you're not surrounding yourself by like-minded individuals, community, men and women, that are penetrating through these narratives, through fear, you know, just people that are operating out of love, on some level, it's going to be challenging, if not impossible, to then organically allow yourself to truly lean into and really just trust and see the beauty within humans. So I don't know. Let us focus on this beautiful music here. Try to get warmed up. We kind of just popped up, haven't really picked up a guitar either in the last like 5 minutes, and we've just been flowing through, doing some improv, really trying to really lean into the ability of how we can weave together this new part of our tone ramp here. All right, let's try to do a fresh loop, starting maybe with just the vocal dimensions, because I feel like this is a really strong element. Maybe let's start with the pan flute here. Let's plug this baby in. Testing. I love it because like you can just do regular words. Like if I'm like I want to loop words, like maybe say, "Hush guys," yeah. I don't know. That doesn't really have good resonance, but that's indigenous to Coast Salish. That means thank you. It's a word that my previous partner and I would say a lot, and she was very enamored with that dialect and would share a lot with me with that. So... kind of got away from me at some point, but let's see how that goes. I think we didn't enter the key of B. Ah, I see. Because we're also in the key, an alternate key of B, so it's either we have to go back to a regular tuning, which I don't really want to do right now, or we gotta let ourselves naturally embody the key of B. So. That's probably the tone we want. Yeah. I think it helps a lot to have like a bass line. continue. Oh, can't have that. Oh, there we go. Oh, timed out. I think we can just plug this actually. We don't even need to time it out here. We can just plug this baby right in. Right to the source. So it never times out. Yeah, no need to time out there. These positive paths open up bigger gateways. Yeah, they really will. It's like simplest right. Kind of what I was low key, emulating is I love the fitness community. As a fitness aficionado, athlete, whatever, for many years I almost directly for many years I would always be like the answer to actually pretty much anything in life. In my mind, like for a period, was always just like you gotta, well, for one, train more intelligently and train harder, and almost realize your power as an individual to train in creative places, like truly. And I actually believe this to the deepest center of my being. And when I was on mushrooms yesterday, going on this little hike through the beautiful forest, and I was looking and meditating with all these like hummingbirds, and staring into the mountains for like an hour, I swear it was clear as day, where I was like, part of my journey as of late was just kind of like dimmered from that core truth. Like what I'm simply saying is, I made videos about this. I've actually recorded podcasts talking about like what we can learn from professional athletes like GSP. And this is when before I was devoted to be a music YouTuber. I was leaning into being a fitness YouTuber, which in the future I'm going to create actually side channels where it'll be all about learning to be an athlete, martial art pursuits, qigong pursuits, etc., somatic training basically. But the essence of what I was emphasizing for a while, and I was learning a lot of this when I was training and studying to be a trainer and a movement coach. The idea is, we as individuals, like if you think about it, there actually is not a whole lot stopping you, unless you're obviously injured, which I empathize. That's a whole nother thing you gotta work on rehabilitating and restructuring, to build a foundation. But there's not a whole lot stopping you from walking into a martial arts studio, walking into a boxing studio. You can do this any day, any time of the day. You can walk in and be like, book a day, because every single one of these classes, every single one of these places, be it a capoeira studio or I don't know, a parkour gym or whatever, you can literally schedule an appointment and be like, hey, I want to try out your facility. You're like, you know what? And there's like hundreds all over the freaking Lower Mainland, at least where I live. You can literally be like, you know what? I want to try boxing. You can sign up for a boxing day. Be like, I'm going to try a boxing class. And obviously listen to your body, maybe prepare yourself if condition your body a little bit. But you can be like, you know what, I want to do a boxing class or a kickboxing class. And you can schedule this. Even if you train somewhere else, you can literally be like, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to go and schedule a boxing class or a kickboxing class. And reach out to the facility and be like, hey, I'd like to try a free trial of your day or whatever. Sometimes they have a week. And you can sign up and hop in that facility tomorrow or next week or whenever you want to do this. And that can literally like change your life if you just hop in that one class. Like, even maybe not change your life, depends on what your life's direction is, but that can like set you in an entirely different mindset. It can change your week, surely it can change your day very actively, where if you like see the power that you have to enter an entire different paradigm that's at your disposal, filled with a room full of different people, athletes, committed people, maybe people that are just like you, that are just trying these things for the first time ever. You have a lot more power than you could ever imagine to immerse yourself in these kind of new community immersions once you realize that. And this is just what I'm kind of sort of bleakly pointing out, is like, as a guy that trained martial arts for many years, and I've trained parkour gyms, and freaking you can go train at a climbing center or something if you wanted, like if you just want to try a free trial, or whether you want to invest $100 or $200 in a monthly subscription, that's up to you. But it was just this, the core thing was flowing through me. I was like, you know what? I think next week I'm gonna go take up my friend's offer to try his jiu-jitsu studio, train some capoeira, maybe go find a running club, because there's like a bunch of running clubs around Vancouver, freaking jump in a little meetup. I don't know, do some like community fitness based immersions. That was like the core thing because part of me when I went on this mushroom trip yesterday, it was like a microdose where I went for this walk in the forest. I came to realize like it was clear as day. You know, I was reflecting, looking at my life and like reflecting on the essence of how my recent relationship unraveled and how I transitioned, out of it, and what was, arising and surfacing in this. And the core thing I realized is there's a part of myself, and hopefully maybe this resonates. I don't know. This is kind of why I'm talking about these things. There's a part of myself that realized in this moment, and this is a very vital thing to understand, especially as men, is there is a thing called the warrior archetype. The warrior archetype. It's a embodiment, of course, of everything you can imagine the warrior archetype is. There's core traits of how this is manifested, but when you think about it, the warrior archetype is basically that, like, it's the energy the we as a primal masculine have embodied for generations, for millennials. It's about, the inner warrior, the protector. It's like a very integrated divine masculine role that's innate to humans, of course. So basically, what I realized in the moment, I was like, wait a second. It's clear as day that for whatever reason recently, for very good reasons in my life, I realized that I had, for whatever reason, strayed away from certain elements of embodying the integrated warrior archetype. And this is something that I've honestly devoted many, many years, like several plus years, extensively throughout my life to just be like, I trained martial arts for literally 6.5 years, Taekwondo for 7 years before that, like literally spending massive allotments of my life learning to do Qigong and do all these different sort of warrior training things because I just loved it. But it made me realize in this phase of my life, part of what I'd had been dimming, and truthfully, part of the reason why I think this is because I've also been learning to evolve my king archetype, building my YouTube business, being a leader, learning to honor father energy and embody all these different energies of it. But it made me realize, because this is the fundamental part, is the warrior archetype is your inner will, your indomitable will. It's like, it's an energy within you that says, I have the ability to overcome anything no matter what. It's like, if you think about it, like a warrior, they have to embody and show up and overcome. They got to find solutions. And if you're finding yourself like almost like in your life, you look at your life and you're feeling like a victim, or you're feeling powerless, or you're feeling yourself maybe in some rights passive. You look at your life, you're like, wow, why am I a victim, or I'm powerless for whatever reason to XYZ thing? That is not fundamentally the way, well, things are. But also, as a man, you have the ability to honor and embody your warrior archetype. You do. This is in your genes, your DNA. We are warriors by default, and not, it's like a warrior that is integrated, one that is seeing the ability to conquer any obstacle, with a nobility, with honor, with a, deep level of competence and indomitable will. So basically what I'm saying is it's simple. It's like, I looked at that in my own life and I was like, what parts of my life am I kind of feeling a little bit maybe powerless? Maybe I'm seeing raw frustration or anger arise. And how can I honor that? And of course, in my mind, it was like, oh, wait a second. This core part that I really value and honor in my life of embodying the warrior archetype, which is just simply a mentality of being like, wait a second. There's an obstacle. You can conquer this. Like, it should be like, it ignites a fire in you. It should be you, like, honoring your ancestors and that primal masculine energy. Be like, I am one that can overcome. Because, you even look at the lifeblood of how your ancestors have overcome immense amounts of strife. They have overcome and had to work through immense obstacles. It's in our heritage, it's in our DNA as men to, integrate that warrior archetype, to overcome obstacles, to see solutions in this process. Not to feel powerless, not to be victims of circumstances. Be like, this is my path as a man to be able to overcome. So anyway, let us try to focus vocals, because this is so crisp, I gotta say. Super happy that first time listening to you. Nice. Thank you, Derek. Or welcome to here. Poutine. Wow, poutine is worth 500. That's dope. Thank you for the poutine. I don't know, I haven't eaten poutine in my life probably in like 10, 15 years. But I also just have a very, very simple, clean diet, which I love. But poutine rocks, I gotta say. It's a brilliant invention. Testing. Crisp. I know there was a higher tone that I was achieving yesterday. I'm trying to find it. I don't know where exactly I can find it. It was kind of like a soul, like the noise was like soul, but like really high, like somewhere. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. The challenge is to do this in drop B tuning. So from way up here, yeah, that's in drop B. So simple. Effective. And then try to loop it effectively. We should probably start with a chord, but let's just do it. And of course we can harmonize now very easily. Now it's a little bit all over the place, but it works though. It somehow works a little bit. Yeah, maybe gotta keep it rooted in a chord structure. I don't know, I think we're gonna, for a moment, really just focus on trying to improvise so much in our drop B tuning and get in a flow state, and then we'll just lock in. Singing takes so much practice. These are the first videos on my channel of me singing. I did not. No. I think I don't you do like a low, like almost baritone-esque, what's the word? Like almost like, what's it, Frank Sinatra style, I think? Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Yeah. Nah, bro, don't get me, yeah, I mean, no mistake. Singing takes a lot of focus and technical development, but the essence of it, I'll be perfectly honest, like someone was asking me the other day, which I found it was interesting, they're like, yo, how do you sing, or can you get any tips on singing? And in all honesty, I think singing is most importantly, it's the most important part of singing is about singing from the heart. It's expression. Yes, if we're talking about like, you want to sing like Adam Gontier or something, like you want to do like complex, like vocal fry belting that's leaning into like all the different layers, because if you listen to Adam Gontier, he's a very good example of a vocalist, I feel, because his voice, he's also has a lower range naturally, but also, you know, there's many different singers you can think of, like I like, you know, Jared Leto's voice. It's very simple, he's got a very natural approach, but he's also a tenor like myself. But the idea is to sing on a higher level, like a complex level, you got to recruit very active muscles of the diaphragm. Like basically the essence of all singing is diaphragm control. There's more to it, like there's nasal palates and weird, you know, dimensions of all these things, but to sing at a high level, you basically just have to have extremely good diaphragm control. And of course, you know, learn to have like how to maybe breathe in elements of the chest and the nasal palate and all these little cool nuances. But I'll be perfectly honest, the at least the singing that I think is like really, really good, that I, you know, resonate with, like Adam Gontier, maybe like Chris Cornell kind of style, and I don't know, many singers, it's all about diaphragm control. And I'll be honest, it's really hard to do that. Like to do it to, like to a place where you're not only trying to produce, you know, original, really beautiful sounding music, because this is the thing, is you can sing, you know, kind of from the nasal palate, where it's just like, you sing simple notes and it sounds, good, and you're using a microphone and that's amplifying it. But if we're talking about like creating resonance with your voice that's diaphragmatically supported, that is really difficult. That's where, yeah, it takes technique, it takes like singing exercises, it takes years and years of developing the voice, particularly in your natural sound in your voice, to get to that. And I don't know, I've only been a singer for like 5-6 years, not very long, truthfully. So it's a thing that I have like very little support. Even this, I wouldn't even call what I'm doing singing. This is toning. This is more like toning and channeling as like a background tone using a microphone. But yeah, it's fun though. No matter what, I think singing should always be about expression. Just like pretty much all music. It can become technical, but it should always be foundationally built on some sort of emotional expression. You're not trying to like just do it from an empty place of like, okay, technically this sounds good, or I'm just doing it because I've done repetition of this a billion times. It should always be like, is this eliciting joy? Is this meaning something to you? Is it intentional? If it's not, then you should probably ask yourself, what are you even doing? Just in life in general. But of course, then we're talking about, performance art and things like busking and streaming, where if you're playing guitar and singing and doing these things for hours, of course, some parts of it will be like a weird muscle memory kind of thing. I love your voice and pan flute sounds in a chamber. Yeah, me too, honestly. That's the thing, is that's what's so freaking revolutionary about this thing, is like, I've always enjoyed my voice, but I don't like leaning into microphones a whole lot. Like, I personally, for the longest time, I'm a proponent of like, if you can't sing without a microphone, you can't necessarily sing. Like, you can technically, and it sounds great in many rights, but it's almost like if you're leaning into a microphone as a crutch and you don't really understand how to like achieve a pure tone, or you don't understand how to like, I don't know, just have fun with singing, then microphones can become a crutch very quickly, where it's like, oh yeah, everything can sound good. And that's kind of where I'm in an interesting place, where I've been leaning out of microphones for so long that now I'm excited to be like, man, I have a intention of how I desire to create dimensions of my voice and related to pan flute and related to guitar, because a lot of it, I just want to treat it as the voice is like another instrument to me. I see all the layers of how I want to harmonize it. I treat it as like, the voice has a role that I hear in my head, especially when I get into flow states. And weirdly enough, a lot of how, I create music is I also am a real massive proponent of very weird, rich, low, guttural, ancient sounds. So, sounds that I actually can't often explore, especially in microphones. Like, it's hard to even explain these sounds, but it's basically throat singing. I like throat singing, but like very like ohms and low resonance patterns, and throat singing alongside high sounds. It's almost like, the balance of, you hear a low bass note and it needs a harmony, or it can. It really just like is about that conversation. That can always pop in, where it's just like testing. I gotta find a way to kind of like keep this. I could probably find, I could use this little guy. This little like fastened loop knot thing. Maybe to like hook up my plug to the other plug, so I keep it on standby, so it's just free, but then I lock it into the second plug. This guy chills here. Maybe I just like, yeah, this might be the way. I just kind of lock it in and let it kind of just hug the other plug. Yes, feels like this is what this little loop thing is for. Just, yeah. Probably gotta like independently, maybe, oh yeah, do some weird little like not, yeah, that seems really good. So I can just kind of seamlessly be like, one goes in. So that's what we want. It's the raw resonance pattern. I love it too because it masters it very, very well. Like that is the pan flute. I kind of turn it down maybe a bit. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's what we need. And then we can even loop every sound we want. I can actually even loop this in with the microphone. I can just loop any sound I want, really. Let's keep that for now, though. Interesting. So we'll keep that locked. Keep that as a saved loop. And that's the beauty. I think the more I do this, whoops, what happened there? The more I do this, I know that you see loopers, right? They typically just create loops every given way. Like, that's a loop, right? That can be 4 bars. That's a bar sequence. And then you just reset it. I thought you were engraving bullets before the sound began. Interesting. I don't know what the heck that means. Engraving bullets. I guess maybe you mean when I was like weaving together my chords. Another thing I can do, I can actually fuck with something crazy. Something crazy here. Relax, cat. I don't know how exactly, but this is what I thought about last night. Is like I can use the didge in a way. Maybe I have to find a spot to set it up or something. Because the didgeridoo is a long boy. Just kind of... The didgeridoo, of course, just, low sound amplifier. Gotta somehow direct it right in there. Maybe just like put it in there. I don't want to sort of mess it up, make a weird echo. That's got great resonance. It's so great. Maybe I use my feet. My feet to hold it, in a sense. And then the didgeridoo kind of wrap it around. That's cool. That's cool. That's fucking wild. It's just this, bro. The setup of this amp is perfection. The Tonewood amp. Now it's literally like any sound. Like let's even attempt what we were kind of doing before. Hello, good luck, best, interesting. Okay, okay, right. Thank you for the blessings. Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, that's not. Yeah. I feel like I used to practice in singing E U I O U soft do. Yeah, bro. Free fallen. No. That's what I feel functional used to a lot. Yeah, bro. E I O U. Of course, the vowels are historically like as in sound healing. In sound healing, the vowels are sacred. You know, of course, in the voice, the vowels are very important. Like A, I, O, U is the entirety of like how all our voice experiences resonance patterns. Like it doesn't take you know, an esoterically inclined person to understand. It's like A, E, I, O, U. It has so much resonance behind it, like A, I, O, U. It's all just resonance. But in sound healing, it's actually there's a section here. Testing, testing. I can speak. But yeah, there's a section here that literally expresses and explains. I don't know where it is. It's in a chapter. I think I just missed it. But yeah, in sound healing, A, I, O, U, there's particular pronunciations in particular tones that are for every chakra. So basically, the vowels A, I, O, U, a lot of them they all relate to different chakra centers, and this is very well researched and understood in all sound healing. So yeah, it's AIOU is not just good for singing in the singing capacity, but it actually is about more chanting and resonance patterns that transcends singing per se. It's not about singing words. And you see this when you hear really good, you know, vocal pieces or music pieces, you know, that I personally see. You see singers do something where they blend vowels, you know? It's like Jared Leto does this a lot with a lot of how he sings. Like, what is it? He's like, what if I wanted to? No, where is it? He goes into some one. I forget the section, but he's singing some parts where he blends the sounds of A, you know, E into A, and he's like blurring the lines between vowels. And you can do that very effectively because that's the magic of vowels. Yeah, it's good stuff. Engraving bullets. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. No, that's good. I mean, I think I know. I am familiar with that kind of singing exercise. I'm very familiar. Let's save this loop and go to another I think I also deviated from drop B again. Maybe not, maybe not. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. That's a nice loop, but that's deviating kind of from the drop B. Because I think, my strength in a lot of this, at least as I've been exploring the last day or two, is this alternate tuning that I created. Basically, it's basically a drop B that explores. The low string is 2 steps down. Yeah, 2 steps. E, D, C, B. Maybe it's 3 steps. B. How many steps down? I'm kind of curious. I keep kind of misappropriating this. E, half a step, full step, half a step, full step. Oh, okay. So it's 2.5 steps. 2.5 steps down. And then I'm on the fringe of the 3rd step because we're in 432. It's a weird tuning, that's all I'll say. But it's a very effective one. Especially because, as we underlined, we're doubling the F sharp. Fresh loops. The emphasis is, of course, our guitar in its wholeness, because this is beautiful. And then we'll complement it. We'll complement it as we do and build up some layers progressively with our vocal dimensions, and then progressively layer in violin and pan flute and see kind of how this all comes together. Because, naturally, I think the way I love to play music is always like I love to do it all sort of in a cohesive, organic, all at once kind of thing. But of course, looping is all about progressions and slowly building, like, the entirety of like a progression in a song. So it's all about like progression. Start very simple, very core, very simple. We gotta maybe go into, how did we have this? Maybe start there and go to another lower weird note. We're gonna kind of chain together some chords. These are chords I don't explore a lot. We're just kind of playing. It's nice when you hit the lowest note in the middle tuning and tune the peg up. That was nice when you hit the lowest note and that tuning and tune the peg up. Right. That was nice when you hit the lowest note in the tuning and turn the peg up. Yeah. That being said, it's a very unstable sound. Because naturally, yeah, tuning peg or detuning is a beautiful element, but doesn't have a whole lot of application in my experience, at least in the lower notes, because the intonation, the action is so shaky, like, because in essence too, I mean, that's an interesting thought. There's not a lot of application in the style or what I'm exploring right now in basically keeping the low note and low B and then trying to go to, I don't know, maybe if I go to D, like high D. Like if I were to be like, so I'm going from B to D sharp, which would be Yeah, it's got like a weird kind of natural hum. And then it goes to D sharp, which matches the tuning. That's the challenge though, without having like detuned, or pegs that are meant to be detuned. It's all just this weird kind of game of like training your ear or your fingers to perfectly detune and retune, which is fun, but also like it's a bit tedious. It doesn't really, I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I want to just get a new guitar in the future that has detuned pegs built in. You know, there's like a system where it has like these weird looking big ass tuning peg things that make it so they're purposely, you can dial them perfectly. So you just do a little twist and it perfectly sets to a, you know, a tuning that you calibrate. So it's meant to just go do do and just like play around with weird detuning things. I think though, outside of doing it with those official setups, it's actually kind of damaging to your guitar. Like it kind of messes with the action pretty rapidly. It can kind of mess, I'm sure, with the tuning pegs themselves, but I don't know. Sounds like something from a horror movie almost, detuning. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not hard to make everything sound, or many things sound like horror movie stuff. Yeah. All right, let's get into something weird. So we can start with maybe beautiful. That's what we usually do in our triad, or and then we go down to and maybe go into something. Oh, so we go. No, no. Okay. Okay. All right, let's try that. Oh, messed it up already. Not a strong suit of mine, these weird chords, but these, of course, are great. They sound beautiful. Oh no, messed up the. Alright, we'll get it the second time, no doubt. Oh, messed the intonation, or the intonation a little bit. No! Yeah. So we went here, and we went, oh yes. Okay, so don't know. Drop B is presenting some weird issues, but these are good. These are good. We got it. This is the one. Nope. I don't know. It's not perfect, but that's pretty good. It'll work for a second. Interesting. Huh. It keeps it interesting, but I think we could do better with the cadence. Make it simpler, make it more chill. I think that was good. My cat's trying to get my attention for some reason. I'm not sure why. Interesting. Kind of works. I don't know. I haven't really warmed up that in particular. Cat's really trying to get my attention. I don't know why. I mean, she's always wanting to get attention, but I don't know. Let's save that one maybe. Try to loop on top of it. Whoa. Oh, damn. Oh, no. What happened? Just unplugged itself. So many cables and cords, man. Oh, that just deleted. Okay. Well, that's okay, I guess. I think that left the tone. It left the right tone. At some point, we'll probably have to exit drop B to make this a lot easier and more natural, and go maybe into dropped, or go to D sharp for ease of the vocals and everything else. I really enjoyed though what we were doing with the lows. Somewhere there. Okay. Sounds like a little sharper. That's more like a slap harmonic / acoustic percussion dimension. So it's like low. Tonality still deviated a bit on that loop. It kind of just left the key of B, or in the 432 hertz. Interesting. Something to keep in mind. I think we'll probably soon pop into regular standard or D sharp standard. See how those vocals flow through. I think it'll be much easier. For now, I think I'm quickly gonna let my cat. What is it? What's going on? Yeah, I noticed, I've experimented a lot with, or I like experimenting, but I've never really gotten that deep into double vocal harmonies, which is a deep, deep realm. Like, it's a very deep dimension that just goes, you know, infinite. Where if I were to be like, testing, testing, like, say, it just keeps floating. Like, that's so chill. That's so chill. So chill. And then we could just, like, that's it. That's the note we want. It's very atmospheric, and it's just so floaty. Because, you often when you hear, like, hey, we cleared out the room. I don't know. I don't know. Google. It's possible YouTube just kind of dropped the signal, which just happens. Yeah. But the idea is that when you hear like a lot of like almost movie score type stuff or like anime score stuff, that's what I really like. It's almost like if you hear Death Note or Attack on Titan, they have like almost these very. That's often where I'm taking sort of some of these sounds in my head is from Attack on Titan and Death Note, or those like low kind of atmospheric kind of choral tones that blend into multiple layers of sound. I don't know. That's what I hear in my head. It's like anime themes and stuff like that for those types of elements. And then of course the flute is also very anime-esque. So let's see. So we save that. Just make sure it's nice and saved. It's not going anywhere. Sort of like almost Lord of the Rings-esque, which is very on brand. I like that. Kind of keep that as a loop that we can phase in and out or whatever. Just making it crispy. Keeping the emphasis right there on these beautiful guitar sounds. I feel like it's the thing I've noticed over the years is like, as a musician or like composer type stuff, composer explorer, composition explorer, I don't know. I like to just like, I always notice that everything centers around the guitar, where it's like, I can make music where I'm like, okay, let's do some vocals and this and piano or this or that. But I notice for me, my strength always is rooted in my awareness of the guitar. It's almost like if the guitar is the emphasis, like I'm like, okay, let's begin with some really rich melodic idea that relates to the guitar, which makes sense because I've been doing guitar for the longest. That seems to be the strength I wonder if my thing glitched. I know yesterday it like timed out and it glitched out. The comment section, that is. Like it almost feels like, in the simplest right, it's like guitar, and this is kind of like a firm belief of mine. Guitar has like the most multi-dimensional application. It's like guitar. It's like just this. It's like you have a canvas, and guitar. Once you sort of attain, a repertoire of whatever movements and techniques, it is such a diverse ability to introduce melodic ideas. It just does. It's also part of why I think guitar is so challenging for many people. So like you see it and you get overwhelmed by the diversity. Like you see it and you're like, a chord, wow, that's 5 notes all played in a sort of weird, striker in unison, or you can splice them up, and then you have chords and melodic ideas all over the place, and you can do so much weird shit. But of course, once you understand that to some degree, you almost come to see in some rights, it's almost like how I like to compare the piano to the guitar is the piano has a simplified layout that has certain strengths in the simplicity of how you can achieve the piano. Like you have white keys in front of you, you have black keys, you can do frickin', really beautiful full chords. You can do multiple octaves at once very successfully. You can involve the sevens and the nines very successfully. You can do triads with the seven, the triad with the nine, trying the seven and nine. That you can't do very easy on the guitar. But naturally, what you of course can do on the guitar is all these weird, unique things. So anyways, all I'm simply saying is the more weird diversity you have on the guitar, the more I think it opens up your ability to create creative, I'd say creativity or diversity in how you arrange compositions. Almost like, so whether it's like you're like, all right, let's do vocals or let's do pan flute or let's do any kind of melodic idea, I think because the guitar has such a complex ability to introduce intricate, melodic ideas, it just really can serve as a powerful and infinite foundation, where it's like, it has so much ability to be like, oh, you have all these different weird ways that they can interweave and interplay, that once you make that the center of any compositional idea, like, because this is why I'm also a firm believer in, I hear a lot of music that people make, which, there's no wrong way particularly or per se to make music. Like if you're like, you know what, I want to make music that's just 4 chords, and you're like, that's my entire guitar sequence, that's it. And then the vocals come through, like, all right, that's my vocal idea, and bam, you have a song, right? For me, that always, if not every single time, like if I hear people that are like musicians and like, maybe if they're like singing their heart out, they're doing really beautiful, complex, emotive things in their vocals, then I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful and powerful. It's a powerful statement. But in most cases, I really feel that most musicians, for whatever reason, it's just a feeling, it's my opinion, I guess, they leave the guitar aspects of their music unfulfilled. Like it almost seems like there's something left to be experienced, where they're like, they're just simplifying it. They're not actually really leaning into the full potential of what the melodic idea could be on the guitar. And obviously maybe it's just, they're newer, they've never really explored the guitar to some degree, but also like I think the guitar should always be one of the core elements of a melodic composition. Like it just really should. You should, to the depths of it. Like you see artists like John Gaume or John Mayer. John Mayer is a very good example of like when you hear Neon. Neon is a full composition. Melodically, it's beautiful. Lyrically, it's beautiful. It's got rhythmic elements of guitar. It's got freaking beautiful like tapping elements and everything. Neon's very well composed. And I think the core thing is you see he's not underutilizing the guitar in its fullness. Now, he's obviously taking it to an advanced level where he's choosing to make it like really complex. But the idea is that I'm a firm believer that guitar really should, in its fullness, it should be fully utilized. You know, it's like if you're just like, ah, but four chords, that's perfect, that's all I need. And then you play the whatever vocals and maybe do whatever else, that's great, you know, for whatever it is. But for me, I always find that's like lacking. It's like the guitar is such a diverse, you know, really just beautiful um, foundation for so much melodic ideas. Another perfect example of that, I think, is Jacob Collier. Jacob Collier is an incredible composer and guitarist and whatever, and you can hear in songs like Little Blue and songs like most of Jacob Collier's, if not all, his guitar compositions. He's weaving in all these beautiful interactions between, you know, these melodic or these key shifts in the guitar and in the vocals. He's also just a masterful musician and a vocalist. But I love hearing Jacob Collier's guitar compositions because it plays so beautifully into the vocal parts that he does. And again, Little Blue is like a perfect example of how he does that. I just love that. Very interesting. Yeah, but how can we make that more ancient sounding? That's always the key in my mind. I don't know why. It's like, how can one make these things sound more ancient, more like, it's funny, it's like, because that's always where my mind leans. It's like you can make things sound like they're from, you know, this century, or, you know, it's like from 2026 or 2000s, or it's like you can somehow try to like step outside of the box and try to make music. In my experience, at least, what I love to feel and play into is a sound that's from like thousands of years ago. Like it doesn't even make sense necessarily in the sense of how you comprehend it in a modern context, where it just sounds like it's just not from this millennia or century. Interesting. Testing. So we'll make the echo. better way to make something sound ancient than drums, I would say. And of course, low out of key tones. Let's try to find the cadence. That's maybe wow. Gotta be in like drop E. It's getting somewhere. It's going somewhere. It's very ancient sounding. Microtones. Gotta find that sweet spot. I gotta somehow figure out how to get rid of this creaking on the chair. I think that sounds like a magical idea. find some bliss within these resonance patterns. Yourself surrender into the moment, releasing the illusions of fear within your construct. Thank you so much. Bless. Yeah, that really blissed me out. I was chill. Ramon was like, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever. And I was like, oh, it felt very meditative. Very. It's all meditative, but that was just like, yeah, very nice. Ooh, I got an idea. Just pure resonance patterns. Just fuck vocals. So, no, it's not that. I wanted higher, but like just tone. So, I don't know if that really pulled that off, but didn't not pull it off, but it just wasn't exactly the purest tone I was going for. But hey, thank you. Thank you for the compliment, dog. To Mayor, yeah, dog. That's, I guess, what happens. That's just what happens when you play guitar and work on your music, you know, for many, many hours a day, nonstop. Push yourself out of your comfort zone constantly. You just get better. I mean, that being said, I think everything that I just did was not technically better or worse than anything I've been doing already for months, if not longer. I was just letting it flow very beautifully, you know. And I also been playing around with an alternate tuning that I created. Basically, I never hear people use this tuning. It's a very weird dropped B. You know, I drop my B or my E note 2.5 steps. I drop my A note 2 steps, and then I drop the 4 other notes. You know, these babies, I drop them 2 steps. So I create an alternate tuning that's like a split tuning, but it's also all in 432 hertz, so it's off kilter. So it's more in resonance. So that feels really good. Yeah, it's a beautiful sound elevate. Play Michael Jackson? No. Yeah, let's maybe resume what we were doing before. So I like the idea that I've been conceptualizing because, you know, I finally locked in using the tonal amp effects to engage in my microphone, like letting my microphone basically run through a preamp, which I never knew I could do until recently. And it's created some very unique dimensions. And I think I want to practice doing as I do, as lately, looping, but attempting to just basically create backtracks on loops in real time and then constantly change them. So, I don't know. I'm new to trying this, but yeah. So let's do another loop of different dimensions. Maybe save this one. This will be something got to prepare maybe a little bit in the future if we just want it to be all fluent. But it'd be like, that was the starting. That was the loop we just created. And we're like, second loop. As we done this. Sure. Just like creating it like a back loop or backtrack of a singular note. I feel like when doing this live or doing this in a larger context, incense maybe, Buddha status, statues, just the head though. I feel like we need a fog machine to complete this. Interesting. Maybe. I've thought about getting some sort of interesting color light setup that shifts based on the fog machine. I don't know if I want a fog machine flowing through. That's a cool idea though. It's a really dope idea. What's up, bro? Yo, I'm in Canada, dog. Yeah, British Columbia. Funny you say that, though. Buddha head. I have a miniature Buddha statue. And it's actually, well, it's not, sorry, not a Buddha statue. Lao Tzu statue, which I deeply appreciate. You know, it's ancient master statue. I don't know where I can put the homie, but... Lao Tzu. Opinion, I just focus formally. I mean, I think I could do some cool stuff with like LEDs. That is like a very particular set of like LEDs that maybe like create a tone of colors. You know, it's like a light fixture that's like goes into like reds, you know, at a click of a button. Maybe it's like deep purple or blue. That kind of matches the energy. I don't know. There's something I could do crazy with that, I think. But I think as it goes, I focus more on, of course, the music. You know, the visual elements, less the atmosphere. But of course, as a streamer, you're probably right. Like, this would be dope as fuck to have a cool atmosphere with like fog and beautiful light fixtures. Like, people would be like entranced. Like, they'd be like, what the fuck is this? This is so cool. But the music is always first and foremost. What good is a bunch of cool stuff if you're not rocking really dope music? I gotta find where the sound's coming from. It emanates from the bottom, but also the top. It's one-off strikes. Those are fun. I think part of the key to this, what I'm doing here, is gonna come down to close enough, nice. Buddha statues just ahead, yeah. Thanks, dog, yeah. And thank you, yeah. I'm feeling, yeah, I was feeling strong. I think what's gonna come down to is like everything I'm doing, I'm like loop, which I think is a very loop-esque thing, is like in between the moments where I'm like, okay, we've ended the loop, and now when we end the loop, we're playing improv, right? Like we're just like, gotta keep it on there. Like we're just riffing, right? We're improvising. And say as that happens, like a pinch harmonic or a slap harmonic slapped, in between where it's ringing out, that's gonna be the key, I think. As it's ringing out, I can fluently switch the switches. And then as it's still ringing, like it's still, the resonance pattern's still flowing. So, and see, it's still ringing, still ringing, still ringing. I can switch it very sneakily. And then I can loop stuff and switch it. The illusion of fluency. Everything's becoming it's fluent, but it's because I'm making it appear that way. It's not actually. Or seamless. I could play like a loop that I just recorded and then be like loop, and then vocals, and then loop the vocals, and then stop the vocals, and then loop and go back into the guitar. I'm trying to really lean into these low notes. I don't know how exactly. There's a way to do it where it's a perfect resonance pattern. Like it's like a Tibetan throat singing, but it almost sounds like you're on DMT. I'm trying to get that tone. I don't know. I don't know. You can probably tell I've been doing psychedelics lately. I mean, not really, but it's like, I think when you hear those kind of sounds, you're like, I think this guy's probably been doing psychedelics at some point in his life. Which is, truthfully, how I kind of leaned into those sounds. I swear it's like, when I'm on psychedelics, if not always, like, at least for the first, experience of exploring ancient sounds, it's almost like that's sounds that you want to make naturally. Like, I don't know why, it's like, those guttural sort of like, but like trying to almost sound like it's almost like an ancient Mayan sort of Tibetan sound. Also, thank you so much, bro. Thank you, Larry. Yeah, dog. I don't know. I've just been locked in to this weird alternate tuning that I made. That I discovered, kind of in a sense. I mean, I didn't make it technically, but I've never heard anyone play it in this weird. So I've just been like in an alternate tuning that makes like everything, it feels fresh. So I feel like it's easy to just let my mind not think about anything. Like my mind just hears these notes and it's like, oh, this is good. This is really good. It's resonant. And then as I expressed earlier, I've unlocked something really significant where for like a long ass time, I've been wanting to, use the vocals with the proper effects. And I never realized until, last night that I can plug my tone wood amp into my microphone. And it's, of course, this is all mobile. I can literally bring all this with me anywhere in the forest and busking, which is, of course, the core point. It's like I can plug it right into my tone wood amp. It goes right into my Black Star, right through my interface. And now every word I say, every sound that I make, pan flute, vocals, drums, whatever I want to do, tingshas, I can loop it with the preamp sound. which is crazy. It's almost like I've literally evolved my entire sound setup even further beyond a point I even thought was possible. So that's nuts. Like this is like the shit you'd see like, you know, I don't know, just like professional musicians do. Which is, you know, checks out. Pure looping. Purest loops. Even better though, even better than I think what most musicians do. Maybe it's equivalent, I don't know. Maybe it's what they do in some sense, but I've never seen many musicians do this exact thing what I'm doing here with the preamp and etc. Be one with. I don't know. Just do such weird experimental stuff now, which has always been the intention, but now it's easy. And even as I was exploring, I can take the didgeridoo and fucking like loop into the microphone in the didgeridoo, which sounds nuts. Like it sounds absolutely bizarre. I gotta kind of aim the mic though in a weird way, but it's like, you know. And I gotta somehow do the sounds. Yeah, I gotta somehow find the angle where I can do. It actually just it sounds even better than it sounds in a didgeridoo, just through the microphone itself, because of the way it's streamed through the through the preamp, and it's a condenser mic, so it doesn't even like need the didgeridoo, and I can basically do the didgeridoo sounds, and it's like all of it operates better than what a didgeridoo physically does. It's nuts. It's like I can just make didgeridoo sounds with my mouth in a similar way, but it's like Tibetan throat singing. It's hitting so many marks at once that I've been wanting to do musically. I gotta really prime my voice though if I want to do those kind of songs. Let's reset that entirely, because I don't know if that's going to be the one. It's probably a bit loud, but that's the one thing that's funny is like I have to like actually now quiet my voice because the mic so successfully picks up all the tones. I can now successfully like lessen the sound even. Which is wild, which is perfect. That's what you want. That's what you want in a good microphone. Of the bar. The next element that would be kind of wild to do is basically hooking up my MIDI board. That will literally be like the next element. It'll be like bringing my MIDI board, hooking that up to my portable laptop, downloading Ableton, and then literally being like, okay, we did all that all looped well, and then we'll have a second layer of loops where we'll be doing piano and synth sounds and bell sounds and I don't know, like weird whatever we want to do in unison with all what's happening. I haven't figured out how to do that. I probably just got to download Ableton from my computer, transfer it to my laptop, assuming my Chromebook has enough space, and then suddenly we'll have Ableton with the MIDI board all beautifully synchronized with the roving act. So that's, I don't know. That's on my mind, but I'm already satisfied with what we got so far. And then next, we naturally, we would love to get an electric cello, and then next, get a handpan, a miniature handpan that we can do in unison like we do the percussive stuff. I know, it's like the layers just keep building and building. It's kind of like they just don't stop. But that being said, I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush to be like, all right, let's do them all at once or get everything all here and just juggle them all. I think I've noticed there's a very like sacred, as we could say, process of integrating each element where I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna find one little layer that I've now really am attracted to and just play with that and layer that in and figure out, the nuances of how it wants to manifest, and then eventually weave in the next layer. It's the same way I kind of approach guitar. It's like, I'm not, it's, yeah. Whoa, yeah, thank you so much, Psych Doc. And thank you for the, yeah. I'm not playing Michael Jackson, yeah. I mean, Michael Jackson is great. Yeah, he's made some good songs, I could say. But I don't do covers. And I definitely don't cover Michael Jackson, so I'm gonna stop you right there. I appreciate the vow of confidence, though, stranger, to do Michael Jackson, but I mean, I gotta say, I don't know. I guess it's not one-dimensional, but I'm curious how someone, hears someone do live, looping or improv or whatever they're doing, like, doing something different and original, and then your mind's like, okay, that's great, but I want to hear Michael Jackson. Like, come on. It's like, I don't know, maybe that's just, out of the love for the streaming performance capacity. You want to like donate because I'll do Michael Jackson and you'll tip me or something. I don't know. I'm assuming I don't do covers and that's not going to happen, but I'm assuming maybe that's the narrative. But I'm curious how you just like you hear something original and different, or I don't know if you find this original or different maybe to you, but and then your mind's like, okay, that's great, but no, I want to hear Michael Jackson. Like that's an interesting transition, like mentally. I'm trying to kind of understand that, but I don't know. I guess we all have different tastes. We all have different, nostalgic triggers. Maybe that's what's going on. Homie's nostalgic for a time where Michael Jackson was flowing through his heart and head, and he just wants to hear that. Oh yeah, that's a little better. Our volume is so low right now, like so low on our Focusrite. So I feel like that's what's part of what's so magical is everything's so like minimally applied in our sound setup. So it's all very crisp. It's all very balanced, I would say. How can we do this? Very nice. Maybe let's try very quiet and very gentle. I think we went out of 432 hertz for that. Tail end of this is so beautiful. The tail end is just going forever, and then we just let the tail ride, and then we go into our guitar, of course. I think our attack went a little bit over the top. I hear myself talking in the background a little bit. Kind of botched that loop in the essence of where I was flowing, but it's cool. Oh, you've done it now. I've started one little channel looper, 4 looper. Moved up to 505, and I started with the building Ableton bass logging. Nice. Very good. Nice. Yeah, sure. Scratch the surface. Yeah, bro. That's nice. Yeah. Rachel, thank you. Hey, thank you, Corey. Sick. I'm glad the algorithm is recommending this. Yeah. Yeah, dog. It's interesting. I swear, as I've, been kind of communicating, I'm a product. I feel like I'm a fan of just like doing all these things very cohesively, like not basically leaning into the looping too much. It's almost like I think there's a prime way and time when to develop loops. And I think that's more so once you've understood how to independently, curate all these different sounds. It's almost like the loop, I think, in my experience, in my opinion, strongly, can become a crutch extremely easily. If you're a person that's like, yeah, I understand, and you're like, that's a loop, and then you're like, bing bang, and you hit a few chords and a few notes, and then you're like, yes, that's a loop. I'm a looper, which is great. You are, of course, that's amazing. But I mean, like, I'm just saying is like, for the longest time, I was like powerfully unattracted to looping. I was like, no, looping's just not it. It's not it. It was not until I reached this sort of peak place with my compositional ideas that would not be possible without looping. That is, I would be able to basically juggle multiple elements that would sound great without a loop. And now it's like I'm juggling multiple elements with a loop, and it sounds, pretty good, I would say. And of course, I think an element too is I've been pushed naturally as a musician to lean more into busking and live performance and be like, how can I make my live performance like the best possible thing? And of course, in some capacity, this isn't really live performance to me, it's live improv, but this is like a, it's a domain where I can explore and experiment that is live streams. But when I'm like busking, that like lights my soul on fire. I'm like, oh man, like I really want to do the best performance that I can do. And I think looping is, of course, just a natural evolution. I'm like, oh yeah, looping, like, of course, it's cohesive and it's chill and, adds multiple layers. And yeah, and then of course we got our microphone preamp set up, and man, then now we're just like really, now we're talking. Let's save that and kind of move on. Or actually, this is the loop I think where we want to redo it because there's sounds in the back of us talking. It's actually not melodically rich. It's got a lot of nice tails, but I don't know. I'll never get tired of those tails though, the way it's just like. I think though the strength of looping is surely like, this is what I've been recognizing a lot the last couple days, is like, if you can do a looping style, like almost like I think it's similar to how you see, developed loopers, like Tasha Sultana or whatever her name is, Tash Sultana. It's, if you can loop in such a way where you're discarding every, couple bars, like you're like, oh yes, that is a loop, done, and now we're doing a fresh loop. Every couple bars, or every bar, or every 2 bars, or 4 bars, or whatever you want to do. If you can loop like that, then you become like an infinite portal of music in a sense, where it's like, because I think in my mind, I think that's kind of part of my limiting model of being like, oh yeah, looping. You create a loop and it loops and it goes in a loop and then you just play off the loop. For me, I think that bores me to tears in a sense, where it's like that's, I don't think, the successful way to loop. It is a way to loop, of course, but I think the better way to loop is like to give yourself the ability to just try to always create a loop that's meant to be discarded or just, reset or changed or added every like couple bars, and it's like, I don't know. It's always like in a fresh state of improv. I think we went a little bit out of key. Like say it like that. You're like, all right, that's good. That was good, and then we're done. Like we're done. That the loop is gone. It's deleted, and then you're just like next loop of whatever it's gonna be. Might have been a bit overwhelming. I don't know. I want to hit that note, but I went a little overwhelmed. And we just unplug, replug, and then maybe turn it down a little. While it's ringing out, then we return to something else. Then we loop it back. Focus it just on the guitar. So neat to see how each artist uses their own tools in unique ways. Thank you. I mean, yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, that's how we produce music, and you constantly add and subtract elements. Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, I feel that is a magical way. I'm a firm believer in learning to specialize in improvisation. I talk about that a lot where I'm like, yes, like, if you can compose a song, you can compose melodic ideas, that's amazing. And that is probably synonymous with an ability to improvise. But, how I just do this, like, it's how I improvise every stream, 100%. Every performance I do, every busking performance, every compositional idea, like 99%, all pure improv, all created in the moment. It's all a mentality that I learned to develop, over a course of like 9, 10, 11 years of being like, I want to learn to improvise. And like, oh, wait a second, improvising, you can improvise not just riffs, not just melodic ideas, you can improvise entire songs. You can improvise successions of songs, all in the moment, but you got to learn to do it. And it's obviously sometimes really challenging. Sometimes it's pretty easy, but sometimes you just gotta like give yourself permission to be like, oh yes, like I don't want to try to curate or choreograph, if those are the words you use. It's like you just gotta try to make it so it's like, no, it's pure, it's improv. And I'll be honest, part of the weird part of learning that skill set is you actually have to give yourself permission. It's like an ego um shattering experience, because in the years of like learning to improvise, I would basically have to give myself permission to literally be like, okay, but I have to let go of any comparison of trying to be better or worse than myself or anyone else at any given moment. It was always like that. I would have to be like, I have to basically give myself permission to write something that, could be in quotations a masterpiece. Like I'm like, oh, that was a really good song. And then completely just discard it. Like be like, okay, well, what's the next thing I'm gonna write? And not even ever trying to compare it and be like, oh, but what I did was so good that I gotta focus on that because that riff was so good. And now the next riff, how do I compare it or how do I expand off the riff I just did? It's like, no, 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 no. You gotta like give yourself permission to just discard it and be present with whatever's gonna flow through. And it's a weird experience because when you're new to that, the ego wants to identify with like, oh no, but what I wrote previously was so good and what I did now is not so good. And you gotta like assimilate that or dissimilate. You gotta like get to a point where you break open that mentality where you're like, okay, but every moment I can write a fresh masterpiece. Like every moment. And it will be better than the next. And that's a really weird and difficult mentality to kind of get over, at least originally. And eventually it becomes really easy. But I think it also, it's just, it's a simple practice. You just be present. You're just present. You're just like, all right, whatever wants to flow through, let's make it, let's feel it. Let's not try to compare it or make it an egoic, like this riff versus that riff. You're just like, no, whatever, that was felt good. This also feels good. This also will feel good. And, yeah, I don't know. I gotta say, though, I gotta save this. I gotta save this vocal riff I did. I like it. It was beautiful. And embellish off of it somehow. So that one we'll save. But we're gonna go to a fresh loop now. And make it continuously fresh. But I want to keep that guy for the future. Oh, I'd recorded all that. That was a mistake. Yeah, the violin and the other parts overwhelmed a little bit. Heck. Hey, thank you. I see you have to get out of your own way in order to work it right. Yes, I feel you're all I'm saying. It's just a wild process. I feel with all you're saying. Yeah. I really think part of it too, in truth, is like you do have to, yeah, get out of your own head. And I think the best way to do that is to do something fresh. Do something you've never done in many rights that maybe no one's ever done. If it's like, if because it's like if you're innovating something that no one's typically ever done or technically ever done, there's no rules, right? Like when I'm in a tuning that I've made, I don't hear anyone else's comparisons to what is right or wrong. When I'm doing violin bow stuff, I'm hearing no one else's comparison what's right or wrong. Like everything's fresh. When I'm doing a lot of these elements, that I'm juggling, it's literally something that pretty much no one that I've listened to musically has ever done, which is great. And it's intentional because it's not about. I mean, the sound is great. I love it. It's why I do it. But it's also like in the brain, it's really like there's no reference point. It's fresh. Like my mind is like, oh yes, but let's do this because that sounds good. This will feel good. That will feel good. And there's no like perimeters of being like, oh, but this is kind of like repeating or that's happening. It's like no, it's like my mind is literally just like, okay, there's something fresh happening here that I can layer. It's improv at its finest, where it's like improvisation. It's like, oh, but this occurred, but then we'll repeat this, but we'll change that, and then we'll change this, and we'll hear this. And it's like just bouncing around all the different layers of how the guitar interacts with vocals, and the vocals interacts with all the different elements of the guitar. And like that's kind of why I was talking about earlier about why I think the guitar is the perfect like grounding or like rooting mechanism for compositional ideas. Like if you think about it, right? And if you're a singer, you have a limited amount of scales in your range. If you're, playing a flute, it has a limited amount of notes in its range, like a very particular amount. And you can do a whole lot with those. But the guitar, if you really learn to embrace it, it's got the most versatility where it's like, I'm not even like thinking half the time. And I'm also, again, alternate tuning, so everything's pretty fresh. But the idea is that what I'm saying is like, if I'm always being like, okay, but if the second my mind is kind of like even thinking that, oh, there's a little bit of a mental block here, or that sounds, you know, good but could be better, I immediately just drop everything. I'm like, okay, well, let's return back to the guitar, because the guitar, there's gonna be like a whole realm of things that are just so raw and intricate because the way the guitar is laid out. And once you kind of figure into that, it's the same way if you learn improv as a whole, in the guitar at least, it's like, there's so little, like 90%, if not the mass majority of what I do is never repeating because there's so much going on. Like there's like none of that has ever occurred in the way it just did in the last like hour or 2 hours that I played. Like what I just played, it's like everything I did was literally just a thought of like, okay, that's never happened yet. Like 90% of that was just never has occurred yet. I've never even tried. It was just like, oh, this has not occurred, so now it's gonna blend in a different way. I guess it's just improvisation. It's all I'm explaining is improvisation. But it's like in real time, it's neat because it's like once you really latch onto, you're like, oh, improvisation on the guitar becomes so deep that it can become the single best or one of the best tools to compose because the layers are so deep. I don't know. That's just it is what it is. It's great. I just like those feelings or those tones. kind of overlapped a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, remove the dogma from the process when you complete their novel like that. It's the best. Yeah, bro, absolutely. The dogma. Yeah. It's in a similar way. I mean, a lot of it is composition, I guess, or orchestration, but the essence of it, a lot of it, as I've seen it when I was new to improvising, it was not as much, in my mind, improvising, more of channeling. Like, in a sense of like, you can play a note where you're like, okay, my brain wants to go to like, you're like, okay, tapping combo 5 to 7, 12 to 10. Like, there's some structure to it in your brain. Like, your brain's like, yes, that's an improvisation combo. Let's go. There's some conscious thought, but you can also learn to play music. I'm doing a bit of both, I would say. But this is kind of like the earlier thought that I subscribed. And this was back when I started doing like, Changa, DMT for the first time ever. So, I was in a very interesting place. This was like 7, 8 years ago. And I remember I was new to improvisation, and I was like, okay, I can improvise, and that's cool. But there's another thing that is beyond improvisation that, again, I would call channeling. Like, if you think of it, it's like, you're not playing a guitar song, and you're like, okay, it's me playing a song, and I'm improvising from this note to this note. You're just like, no, I'm emptying myself, and nothing is there except for what is flowing through. Like, you're almost like trying to purposely feel into what is something that is trying to speak through you. Doesn't always work, but it does sometimes work where you're just like, what does me outside of me want to do that's not musically like restrained? It's like, what can you do that's just like fucking unhinged? And like, for me, often that's how I manifested, or originally would manifest, like slap harmonics and like, weird like sounds that are just like not even melodic in a sense. Like, I remember like the first time of being like, okay, I can write a song idea that's like I'm playing something, right? But then at some point, but I was like, no, no, no. But what if, because I'm feeling tenacious, I'm feeling emotionally charged, and I want to convey that. I just want to whap, like, that's a little bit clipped, but that doesn't have a whole lot of like conscious melodic structure to say do something like, but it feels like it's an emotion. Like, it's an emotion that's just like there. Just like if you're to be like that doesn't have like a lot of melodic value. Where you don't see a composition be like, okay, now you're smacking the guitar or hitting this part, or doing a timbre that's like a lot of that's just not woven into most compositional ideas, but it's like you feel it. You just feel in your body. You're just like, oh, that would be cool. That feels good to do. And I think that's kind of part of the way I've learned over the years to kind of approach songwriting. It's not improvising. You're not improvising. You're not composing. You're channeling. Where you're trying to listen to the emotions that it's eliciting. It's not about like what the heck is the song or the compositional structure. It's like, what is the emotion? Like, it's like in the same way if you're doing something like this. Like, this was one of the first times I approached it. Was when I was doing like stuff like this. where it's like, it's a lot of that wasn't like conscious, where I'm like, yes, melodic sequence, compositionally, there was no like, some of these choices didn't have compositional value, but then they just did after the thought. Like, it's like melodic choices where it's like, oh, cadences, that's going like super slow. That was a little bit off the ball, but like just shit that's just like you don't predict it. You're just like, where did that come from? What is that even doing? What's the statement of that? It has little compositional value, but it has a different kind of value, like an emotional evocation. And that is like, if you can focus that, that's where I notice like some of the most special, like completely raw and weird compositional ideas that don't have, again, compositional value, but it has like an emotional feeling that's like insane. And that's what I noticed early on when I was getting into songwriting. It's like you can lean into one place where you're like, oh yes, it's got to be clean and polished and compositionally and improvisationally correct, or you can lean into something else. It's like, okay, I don't care about any of that. Like, I'm scrapping any thought of any compositional construct and just being like, well, what if I just make noises? And that was kind of a bit over the top, but certain elements where you're just like, you're letting your body just do whatever it wants to do. And it's a similar construct. Strangely enough, this is often where I take elements of this. Is I do the same in dance. Because, I'm a tutter, I'm a dancer. I do like many different styles of dance, like popping, locking, animation, and not just lots of tutting. But the idea is, it's the same thing in dance. Like, in dance, you can do things that have like emotional catharsis and shock value that have no technical value. Where it's like in dance, you can be like, I'm gonna, do a handstand or do a backflip or freaking do a cartwheel kick or do like some sort of like punch or, maybe a spinning tornado kick. That doesn't have orthodox value to like your tutting combo or something, but you're just like, you just do it because you're just like, I'm gonna do this. So I think, weirdly enough, I mean, strangely, it makes sense. A majority of how I learned to compose music and improvise that became my composition style was all through dancing. Like, dancing is actually, like, the way that I improvise is actually insane. It's extremely closely related to the way that I learned to dance, to do dance improv. So it's very bizarre. Yeah. It's beautifully in combination. Yeah, bro, I swear. Well, this new layer of it, this new layer of like this, the vocals. I've also been doing lots of magic mushrooms lately, like lots, in the sense of like, doses that are respectable, safe, controlled, intentional, keeping myself dazed to integrate. But like, from going from not touching magic mushrooms or any psychedelic for like multiple months to the last like couple weeks, I've been like sitting with mushrooms very intentionally, consistently, like microdose, macrodose, like, day off, day off, day off, day off, macrodose, day off, day off, day off. Just doing like a very particular psychedelic protocol. It just seems like those things, it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of clarity in that. Food for thought. You remove the dogma. Yes, sir. Heck yeah, dog. Very nice. Ear. Nice. I swear, half of there's probably, I don't know. I thought this about the session yesterday, but I feel like just the way it's been flowing, there's got to be at least three or four clips from this stream. Like, I've accepted that stream is like going in directions it flows. Like, I feel like I'm just having fun with this stream because I'm just doing this vocal thing. But yeah, I feel like I could have ended the stream. Like, half hour ago, but it's flowing so interesting. It's going in an interesting direction. So I think I'm just hanging with it. So you're allowing the music to flow through the source. Yeah. It's really, it's like, it's a very interesting thing to think about. And again, it's exactly how I treat dance. Like, and I like to think about that a lot and try to talk about that in depth. Is like, the way I play guitar is only the way it is because of the way I dance. Like, I would have literally, like, that's the funny thing, is the ability of how I perform musically. Like that's the thing is, for many years I had so many creative blocks. Like I mean so many about performing music, about improvising music, I don't know, about composing music. Like, obviously it's a journey that you got to go on, but I swear I unlocked the ability to confidently do all of the things that I do musically now with dance like 5 6 years before I did it musically. Like dance was the first thing that taught me everything. It was just that. It was like the ability to perform in stages and festivals through dance, through acrobatics, the ability to improvise in dance, in all these different things. Like dance is what built that foundation of like the muscle memory and the confidence and the stage presence. And then I just literally transferred all of that. I was like, whoa, I did this with dance. And it took me many years to get that with dance. But once it got there with dance, I literally saw the parallels. Like, okay, well, now I can only hope that one day I get to the same level of fluency and improvisation and performance presence with music that I do with dance. And then fast forward, 6 7 years, it happened. So it's kind of wild to see that dance happened before, like the advanced improv or whatever it is, like stage presence and performance presence, all occurred more naturally and more fluently in dance. And maybe it's part of it because I just love dance. Like dance has never been like anything but pure passion and joy. Where for music, a lot of it was associated with like, validation and maybe wanting to, I don't know, prove myself or prove something to this, or there was a lot of like ego woven within music where I had to like strip that away. But dance was never that. So I don't know. Anyway, it's a mind fuck. Any insights to share? Nice. I think mushrooms are an amazing tool. Yeah, bro. I mean, they're intense. Like, I can say confidently, magic mushrooms, they obviously, like, consistent experience and exposure to magic mushrooms, like consistent exposure is very different than just like, let's do magic mushrooms once and like, whoa, it's one, maybe final hurrah in a sense, or one like deep immersion, and then you don't touch it for like 6 7 8 months or whatever. That is very different from being like, okay, we're going to develop a relationship with this entity. Let's develop a protocol that is congruent and balanced and harmonious, that is honoring the medicine. Like, they're very different things. And I think when you regularly, and I'm talking regularly, like maybe like once a week, if that, like, being conscious and respecting the medicine, you basically come to see that there is so much that we hide and suppress beneath the surface that is very uncomfortable. Often, not always, but if you're, a product of society and you're a product of programming, you're not living your highest reality, that is the truth. Is something like psilocybin, doesn't need to be psilocybin, but it can be, is letting you sit with the discomfort of not being in highest, your highest expression of self or resonance. So you're consistently having to sit with the discomfort of what is you resisting the things you need to do in your life, basically. And I think that is what often awakens, the clarity or creativity. It's not necessarily the mushrooms themselves are by byproduct letting you have creativity. It's the clarity of consistently sitting with the discomfort of, whatever you've been suppressing or putting off out of fear. And like that's kind of where, if there's any insights I want to share, the insight that's been flowing through like water for the last like multiple weeks has been, yes, so many of us can attribute, and I did videos about this, and I'll probably do many more videos about this. There is so much that we can attribute in our lives that is malaligned because of the illusion of fear, because we believe fear is real. We believe in our fear-based narratives, like we believe them very deeply, and we associate and identify with them. Like you could think of the most bizarre, otherworldly, outlandish, almost like foreign narrative. Like, think about this. Like, you see somebody or something that disturbs you, or you're like, oh, that, you hear something maybe that's like news or some sort of worldwide, narrative of like, whoa, this person did that, or oh, this person has done something that's super disintegral and egregious, or really just messed up, right? Or maybe something that's just like really just desecrating, basic human decency. the way your brain tries to like form narratives. You're like, oh, but based on that, this is probably what occurred. Oh, but that's what this person is. Oh, but that's what maybe this person in my life is. Oh, but that's what all these people are based on this, based on that. How much of that is literally a complete illusion? Like how much of what your brain is being like, oh, I hear something on social media or in the news, maybe I don't watch the news, or in some sort of like weird construction of the mind that is completely rooted in fear. There's no love, there's no like heart center awareness or resonance or any conception other than fear. It's just like fear, 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 fear. Your mind's just like, oh, but that person is this in this scenario of a fear-based narrative of who, this person is based on fear, that person based on fear. What I've been coming to see on mushrooms, I mean, mushrooms literally, suppresses the amygdala and does a lot of things in relation to that center of the mind that works on fear. So of course it would be an epicenter of it, but my mind literally, it's like it was beginning to see in my own life the center of my own grief, my own stress, my own negative projections at all. I was literally asking myself, like being very honest when I was on the mushrooms, of course. I was like, is any of this even real? Like if you can look at it and be like, oh, is this negative thought of how you're seeing a person, in your life or a person in your head, or is it actually rooted in anything except for fear? Fear is not real. Fear is literally an entire illusion. It's painted in a construct where your mind, in many rights, doesn't have the capacity to fully comprehend so many things. Sure, some things we experience that are fear-based, who knows? Maybe they are a genuine, full nervous system experience, but a lot of the way that we're programmed in society, through social media, through our phones, it's fear-based narratives that are not even real. It's all literally just a complete, illusion that you've constructed. And the whole point of what I'm saying is because when you actually see that there's fear and then there's love, like fear is kind of like trying to paint this picture that's trying to basically make you almost like continue to instill or perpetuate a fear-based narrative. Like it is almost like pushing you away. It's contracting. Where love, like if you're like, okay, but where if I'm in the heart-centered space where I'm in love with life, I'm received with love by, community, by your family, by your intimate partner, like you're in a space of love. There is a way to experience a lot of things that if you were to experience it from fear, the context doesn't even apply the same way. Like the actual truth of how it's experienced in a love-centered space can acknowledge and see through the illusions of fear. And all I'm saying is all this is all very, poetic and whatnot, but all I'll simply summarize in all these thoughts, and it's a lot that's been on my mind. I mean, hours and hours of reflection. A lot of what I'm talking about, we're talking about like love versus fear. These are constructs that appear where, when you are in extremely, I would say, healthy, but also very powerful intimate relationships. Like these models of what I'm talking about is often what you experience when you are thrusted into a sacred love, like a sacred entanglement of a romantic partnership. Like that's the absolute truth is. It's like there is nothing that is more powerfully tested in this model of fear versus love than when you are with some person that you love with all of your heart, in a romantic entanglement. We're like, this person I love. And how strongly can I root myself in love and see through the illusions of fear? Anyway, food for thought. It's almost like in the simplest way, we'll return back to our music here. But it's true. It's like if you hear, you hear maybe, I don't know, I've seen like poetic literates talk about, like there's love that is just like, conditional and maybe it's infatuative, it is trauma bonded, it's like disintegrated in a way. But then there's love that is like spiritual in quotations. That is like you're like, oh, this is a person that's reflecting a powerful mirror of me to me and inviting me to heal and spiritually I guess, align or resonate in a higher place. That is where you can literally confidently see when you have like a sacred love mirrored back to you, you are forced to face your fears that has been so programmed and forced to surrender into love. And again, that sounds all very poetic. Like there's books that literally explain this in a deep, deep layer. And I honestly, these are things I'd only read about until I've seen it in my own experience. And it's crazy. It's very intense. You know, Candy B. Not idea what Candy B is. I think I need some water. Remember to stay hydrated. Friends, acquaintances, audience members, water. Water is your friend. Rich, full foods, full of light and energy is your friend. That's just so fun. I can't remember if this is a safe loop. Yeah, that was a good one. Let's save this and go to 29 and do a fresh guy. So looping upon looping upon looping. There's something so spiritual about looping, you know, in the sense of like philosophically. When you're creating a loop and then you're doing a fresh loop, it's like you're just acknowledging, you know, the nature of a lot of stuff. Okay, there we go. Back into 29. 29. Let's get into time. I want to try to get that one sound, like it's a weird Tibetan throat singing sound. It's like, thank you for sharing your insight. Hey, thank you for asking. Thank you for asking, yeah, bro. I think I might take parts of that, what I just said, and throw it into some content. I don't know. The only thing that's loosened the illusion of fear, funny enough, was shrooms. Things that showed me how I blinded myself in the mind chooses fear. Very real. Yeah, bro. It really, like, I mean, of course, fear literally, on a neurological level, it is suppressing amygdala activity. So the fear center of your brain is literally temporarily being suppressed or deactivated in a way. It's like rerouting the neurons that are typically routing into amygdala activity into other places on a neurological level. It's like proven and been studied, you know, continuously, literally rerouting your perception of fear. So it's like, you know, and for me, I've done shrooms many, many, many times, of course, over the course of like 15, 16 years. But it still to this day, like I'm telling you, the last like number of like, you know, weeks where I've literally been rerouting and reawakening an entirely different philosophical perspective about fear and love. Like really, and again, the essence of this, of course, was stemmed from this recent intimate partnership that I found myself transition out of like really processing, and it's for the better ultimately. There's elements of what I know has been very important for me to sit with in my solitude, but it's unbelievable how much, you know, when you see, it's almost like how I think I underlined this in the long format video that I've released. If you haven't seen it, if you're a new viewer or whatever, and you want to give me some algorithmic love on my long format YouTube video, watch the video that I it's called, what is it? You need to see this, or you need to watch this. You need to understand this. The world needs to understand this. And it says fear is an illusion. The video goes over a lot of beautiful things. I really feel is very vital. But the essence of it is, yeah, I kind of came to this core conclusion about basically how, yeah, fear itself is like the foundational. I forget the exact train of thought. I don't know. I had it very beautifully under on the video, but it's like it goes. There's many different insights, but it's all about fear, and it's really beautiful when you understand. Like sometimes we don't know anything but to fear, bro. It's like, well, that's a fear is insanely programmed. Like this is the thing is when you really look at it, fear is like the driving force of so many people, things, and programs in this world. Like modern society, materialistically, like it is trying to reinforce, even in the simplest level, like it's scarcity based, fear based programming. Like if you were to try to entertain things that were beyond fear based programming, it would like crack open the entire model of how society is trying to, well, convince you how to see and believe certain things and make certain choices. I don't know. It means it's it's intense, but I think the whole point of what I'm trying to say is it's beautiful because when you really understand it, you can let go of fear. Like that's kind of the core message. It's like fear is an illusion, and you can let go of a mass majority. It almost aligns a lot with like meditation, right? I've been meditating a lot lately. You know, namely when I'm on psilocybin or sitting with Changa, and I sit there in meditation for like at least an hour. I've been doing it multiple times, but the epicenter of meditation, like when be like, oh, why is my mind not able to sit in ultimate surrender of fears? Because or ultimate surrender of no mind out of fear. It's because your mind is often holding on to fear-based narratives that aren't even real. And it's the same, you know, you hear a lot of core thoughts about you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are not your fear-based narratives and thoughts that arise. Like say you're sitting there and you're like, oh man, I'm anxious because I'm feeling kind of, you know, unworthy because of I don't know, maybe my previous relationship or maybe like a friend of mine did this or that or like any fear-based narrative that your mind is like it's feeling out of fear and anxiety or apprehension or all these things. Mass majority, if not all of these thoughts, are literally based on complete illusions. Like the actual context that your mind is trying to comprehend, like really, unless you've sat there and like, you know, gone to therapy maybe and just like psychoanalyzed every detail with these people present and got to the surface of exactly what the narratives were and the contextualization. And if you did that, you probably don't need to stress about it because it's out there. But it's like the fear-based narratives that your mind is trying to basically resolve, a lot of it you can just confidently let it go. Like it's an illusion. It's not real. From the root up, from the first time your mind ever tried to construct a fear-based narrative, it was literally never real, has no rooting in reality, and you can just basically let it go. Like be like, oh, it's not even real. It's never going to be real. It never was real. And the reason why is because there is another way, often, if not all cases, to see these very same things that the fear is trying to inform you of something. And that is through a heart resonance center. Like, you know, if you see it through like the eyes of someone that you love, you know, through pure love, through pure forgiveness, through pure just like loving awareness, that perception is not even going to be held the same way. The way that your mind is going to contextualize these things is going to be completely different. So it's just it's a very like bizarre thing, but it's almost like basically like fear's not real. You know, the illusions of how your brain is holding on to these fears, these thoughts, they're probably not real. They're probably based on a whole foundation that you've been programmed for most of your life. Society's been programming you successfully, and none of it's real. And when you realize that, you can let these things go and realize what is beneath this is pure awareness. And again, psilocybin is beautiful because not only can you see these things, like you're like, oh, wait a second, I kind of understand it. I can kind of feel into what is beyond fear, but you can actually process the mind in a allotment of hours, if not, you know, hours that integrate into days, into weeks, into streams of weeks. where your mind is literally seeing, oh, wait a second, there's a way to see all these things without fear. Like, it's like there's actually a tangible way of acknowledging, processing, analyzing, and addressing all of these things that your mind is just associating with fear. You're just like, wait a second, that's what this feels like? To see myself, my thoughts, my worst fears or thoughts that actually have a deeper depth that your mind can healthily see and absorb. And it's a bizarre thing. I don't know. This is all just psycho or psychedelic kind of therapy or psychedelic application 101, but it's magic. It's very magical. I won't get too in depth with this because these are just things that have just been relevant in my reality, but yeah, it's medicine. Anyways. I think that's a little out of key, actually. A little bit out of key. A little bit out of key. I think that might have been also out of key, but let's see. It's a process. I think it is in key, actually. Greetings and salutations. Welcome, welcome, brother. Welcome. What reverb are you using as the tone wood amp? Yeah, it is the tone wood amp, brother. Yeah, that's like all the tone wood amp. Plate setting, number three. Number three. And then, of course, the Scarlett's 2i2 is giving a little bit. It's giving a little bit of the mastering, but it's primarily tone wood amp. Bro's thinking doesn't work for that range. Doesn't seem. Hey, thank you, Brad. Well, I'm willing to scroll through mini stream. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I'm yeah. Did some recording today, friend, and I'm 24-hour thinking, creating music, keeping my head. Wow, dude, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear. I'm happy to hear that, Larry. Yeah, that's dope. Thank you, T Goddess. Gado, sorry, 3T Gado GT. Yeah, I mean, honestly, heck, it's I speak of this often. Well, I think after 3 hours, yeah, I don't even know how long it's been. I think we're at hour three, 3.5, it seems. Probably gonna end pretty. We'll probably end the stream in a little bit, pretty soon. I think it's a good time. We got to do some. Probably do a cold plunge, eat some food, but yes, sir. Yeah, thank you so much, Brad. This has been a strong music session, and yeah, I appreciate the reflection, T Gatto. I feel like, yeah, life's been very interesting lately, and I feel like kind of what I was reflecting on yesterday is to be an artist, or to lead with an authentic creative presence. Really, like you're entering your creative um expression and embodiment. It can be really challenging, like to actually really authentically live and penetrate to the core of what it is you desire to be and embody. Like it's almost like it challenges you simply to your core. um and being a musician or a creative, it really is that. It challenges you, it requests a lot of you. It's kind of like synonymous with accepting the parts of yourself, your shadow aspects, and really like the wholest aspect of yourself. You got to be like present with all of it. You got to like experience all this complex realm of creative chaos that you learn to channel. And it's like, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like it's great to be able to create beautiful music and be a musician, whatever. But I have to say, it's intense. It's an intense reality to really embrace creative energy. It's creative energy in itself. It's chaos. It's chaos energy. It's beautiful, though. I mean, especially I feel blessed as a sound healer, and as the person that I am. I feel grateful to have these unique creative realms that I can access. Like that just feels very cool and very fun. But yeah, being a creative as a whole is such a wild experience. But it's beautiful. This sounds beautiful, and yeah, thank you so much, bro. Yeah, I swear, I only been doing the streaming thing for about officially, I think it's 8.5, 9 months. I created this channel about 11 months ago, and part of my quest as a YouTuber has always been like, I can confidently say that a lot of YouTube seems to be like lacking something deeper. But of course, it has little seeds of creators and other people, musicians, and I don't know, philosopher types and whatever, people that are showing up in an authentic way. And I think that's really beautiful to see. And I think YouTube needs more of that. So, part of my vision as being a YouTuber and being on this quest the last 11 months has been like, okay, like I want to create something very different from how a lot of YouTube channels are. And simply, a lot of it's just creating a channel that has a deep rooted intention within my heart. It's like I go all in. It's like there's a very sacred connection to this channel that yeah, so as I want to go deeper on this YouTube journey, I want to create a channel that kind of emulates that. And of course, it's also more natural and easier to approach because it's musically centered. You know, a lot of what I do, I just make music. I focus on my music, and that's the sort of core theme of this channel. And I like to talk about many things. Like, I think I have a lot of visions with my YouTube channel that I love to fulfill. But, the core essence of it is always going to be just music. I think the streams often are pretty good. They're a pretty good way of putting that out there. It's been a good 3.5 hours though. I think, I did also like a 3-hour stream, I think, yesterday when I was chilling in the forest. It's still, man, I should go into the forest. It's so beautiful. But yeah, I should get rest. Honestly, again, like an hour ago, I recognized, I was like, you know what? It's been 2 hours or 2.5 hours. I think I've streamed enough. Like, I was like, doing all this music stuff, and I was like, I think I've officially hit my mark where I'm like, that's all I needed to do. But then the last hour, it's literally been me being like, you know what? I'm actually like genuinely, I'm intrigued in how much I'm exploring musically, because I just discovered, plugging my toned amp and routing it or connecting it to my preamp, my toned amp, which I've been experimenting with for like, 10 years or so. But I only recently figured out, I was like, I can hook up my microphone into my preamp and actually use the entire sounds that I do on my guitar. That wasn't the greatest example of it. And I'm just going nuts, man. I've been going on like a freaking bender, so to speak, of just playing guitar and making music. But it's like, the idea is that like I can use the vocal dimensions via pan flute, via vocals, and make it an entire loop. And I'll be honest, for the longest time, I've actually, like, multiple months that I've been trying to create this act of doing vocals, creating like ominous vocal clips and captures and looping it and playing around with it. I've literally had mental blocks because it hasn't been, this refined, mastered sound that I've been wanting to achieve. And it just kind of clicked the other day. I was like, in meditation yesterday, I was like, this is so obvious that if I can hook this up to here, it can produce the perfect sound. And then as it is, it worked. So that's been really cool. I think I've just been in this wave of creative energy where it's like, I'm doing the thing that I've been trying to do for multiple months. And then now it's flowing like water. I'm like, oh, this is like what I've been trying to accomplish for a long time now. It's just so silky. It's so silky. It's so easy. It's so easy. It's like, I don't know about you guys, I sing a lot in the shower, as we all do. And I notice the shower has the perfect tone, the perfect hall resonance. Like when I'm in the shower, I hear tones, it bounces perfectly. It's like you're in an echo chamber. This is like the same resonance pattern I hear when I'm in the shower. Like literally, if not better, because it's mastered and it's perfectly equalized. But it's like I can just make tones. Like I can sing like songs and rhythms and sounds that I hear in my head. Any sound, and it just like I can loop it. So silky. Yeah, I'll probably put a conclusion or conclude this stream in the next, like, let's see, probably 5-10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, with that, feel free, gotta go with the flow. For those of you that desire to, zero expectations, I have a Ko-Fi, which is better than the YouTube platform that they have. If you feel so inclined to support this channel, if you desire to, no pressure, honestly, zero pressure, but Ko-Fi, super dope. I don't even know if the scanning code works, but Ko-Fi, I think it's backwards, Ko-Fi, A-S-E. My brand, my moniker, Ashe, but with no symbolism, just A-S-E. That's my Ko-Fi. If you desire to tip, feel no pressure. I've honestly been really blessed and feeling really grateful for those that have been contributing to the support of this channel. But, in that part, I think in the back of my mind, it's also just, organically had me attracted to just like throwing that out there. If it's like gifts and super chats are also really super dope. Like for those, I really appreciate my regular viewers. Shout out to Vermilion, Chad, Moonstars, like those that have been really generous as of late. But in the simplest way, yeah, Ko-Fi rocks. It's not, I don't get ganked 30% overhead by YouTube. I mean, I love you, YouTube, I really do. But your 30% overhead is pretty ridiculous. So Ko-Fi, and if you're a creator or a busker or whatever, and you want a free tipping platform that doesn't take any of your overhead, Ko-Fi or Ko-Fi or however they pronounce it, super dope. No affiliation whatsoever. They just rock. Maybe they'll affiliate me or sponsor me one day. But for now, it's just free sponsorship. I don't know. That's the next tier of being a YouTuber. I feel super grateful for the path that I've been on, and everything's been flown beautifully. But man, I cannot wait to hit that point where I'm like, dang, I'm sponsored. Like freaking sponsorship is like a magical ride. And honestly, I know I can get there. I'm confident. Every step as a YouTuber has been flowing like water, but I know that I gotta. This is part of why I'm like grinding. And even again, another shameless self promotion. If you're an audience member and you are interested in hearing talks that are like philosophical nature about busking, about fear, about the mind, about dopamine, I do long format YouTube where I talk about these things. And it all relates deeply to sort of how I personally operate and how I operate this YouTube channel and etc. So feel free if you want to support my long format. I have a couple videos I released. It would mean so much to watch those videos. Watch it to the end, simply to boost those and pass it on to more people. I really want to get traction in the long format YouTube algorithm so then I can get sponsored in the future. I don't know. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time, but I'm really, really rooting for that in the next coming months. It'll happen though. Let's try something. So this sounds really good. Let's save it and then do something on top of it to make it sound really gentle and natural. I think we lost the key a little bit. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. The overtone is pretty good though. It's kind of picking up. Yeah, it's picking up on the attack, but not the fullest part. Don't you ever play anything more than a few seconds? Bro. That's so funny. What? Damn name. I don't know if you're a regular, but you're about not to become. Thank you for sharing, name. But brother, your comment rights are gone, brother, and they're not coming back. Like, you're obviously not, you're just not the target audience. No salt, no disrespect, but name, man. I mean, after a guy that's literally played, like, at least the concentrate of over 3 hours of pure, like, unfiltered improv to the purest degree. Like, man, that is like, I don't know what to tell you, name. Rewind, hit your rewind button, exercise it. If you're still here, if you're not, I don't care. But, yeah, bro, if you're still here, name, you're welcome to listen. You've lost common rights indefinitely, but brother, you can just hit the rewind button and watch literally 3.5 hours. There's like at least 3 hours of these 3.5 that is just pure improv. So more than a few seconds, like, bro, just lick my balls, like, with respect. And maybe I'm getting a bit salty, but that's just, I don't know. That just makes me laugh. Wow, c'est la vie. Tomorrow's stream location, the bathroom. Nah, maybe. Nah, I don't know. That's the thing. That's the thing, dog. I swear, the sound setup that I've figured out, right, is so successfully calibrated that it actually sounds. Well, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something, man. It's like if I take everything I'm doing, but then make it even more naturally improvised. Like I'd have to be in the tub, like in the shower, to like. But I could technically set it all up. It's all. This is all portable. I technically could try that. I don't know. It might be kind of weird, but who knows? Yeah. Magic. I love sounds of breath. Nag Hamandi Laber, the thunder, the perfect mind. Interesting. I mean, thank you for sharing, man. I'm not sure, honestly. I mean, I hope for those watching that if it resonates and that's something that helps them, and maybe in the future. But I have a long stack of books and a list of books um, that I have yet to still go through. Ones that I gotta reread, some that I gotta paraphrase, and lots that I want to engage in. So I don't think I need another book, in all truth. But it's something to look into. I mean, if it's something you really resonate with, that's beautiful, man. Yeah, remember to stay hydrated. Remember to stay hydrated. Voice is getting a little hoarse. Yeah, it's gonna be a fresh one, a fresh one. Oh. No, 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 no. No, no, no. What was it? I'm gonna see if I can feel into these arpeggios that I was trying to lean into earlier. I don't know. Interesting. I so much hear. I feel like in this tuning, I hear a lot of Alexander Misko for some reason. He must do some of his compositions in a dropped B kind of arrangement and emphasis. But it's like a lot of these low, or however I did it, I don't know. Not even that key, but like I feel like Alexander Misko does a lot of his best compositions, or the ones at least that I listen to that I really like, in that similar realm. You know, that like fourth string artificial pinch harmonic dropped B or key of B, which is beautiful. So a really beautiful key. I'm just kind of hearing that in my mind a lot. Get rest. Facts. Yeah, fair enough. Appreciate that. Can I speak Japanese? No. Yeah. Japan is coming soon. Shotek Tefriel does some great work with What's Ensemble, Alash Ensemble. Yeah, thanks for recording. Bless. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening, brother. The Book of Five Rings. Dude, that book is amazing. I've only read parts of it, but yeah. Interesting. Breath art is beautiful. Thank you, bro. Thank you for the recommendations. Yeah, Japan is coming. You're right. I mean, I don't know if you were here a while back or that's what you're referring. It's like, I was telling myself, that's one of the first few places I want to go to. The basis of it, I mean, this is, I have, my focus is fixed on a very particular subset of how I, displace my time. Like almost like basically, I'm more focused. I'm not focused on like, all right, when am I gonna go to Japan or when am I going to Thailand or where am I gonna, how am I gonna get there and what am I gonna do? It's like my mind is more like, how can I be the best performance artist possible? How can I create the highest quality YouTube content that is like helping people and healing people possible? Like my priorities are pretty like locked in. Um, to particular things. But that being said, if I were to blow up, like if I were to like actually start to like cash like large YouTube checks, say, for example, or just if I were to in the next like 2, 3, 4 months, like if I were like, oh word, certain elements have blown up, or I've successfully circulated this and that, and I'm seeing like substantial, regular income basically, like a full-time job income through YouTube, then I would start to learn Japanese and I would like zero in. I'm like, all right, like let's plan this freaking trip to Japan. But I don't know. In all honesty, depending on the time of year, depending on I don't know what kind of food I'm feeling, I don't know. It's like I may go to Costa Rica, I may go to Thailand, I may go to Japan, I may go to Australia. It's kind of like I don't know. Those are my top five, so to speak, or that's the four. I don't know. The fifth would probably be like Mexico or something, or I don't know. But the idea is like I know that I want to travel. Like that's the vision. Is like if I were to blow up in like the next 4 months or something, which I really desire to and intend to, I would love to. Yeah, just be like, all right, now that I'm making full time income, let's like save a bunch of money and then just go to Japan, go to Costa Rica, go to just like places, and do exactly what I'm doing, but over there. So I don't know, man. I love Japan though. Like I love Japan, Japanese culture. Like that's probably one of the strongest selling points actually in anything, that I'm attracted to, where it's like I love Thailand culture also so much. Like Thai culture, their food, it seems like a very cool culture, but I think Japanese culture is like top tier. So I'm honestly there's a strong chance that I would be really drawn to that. Nice. Oh, I see. He's in Japan. Yes, sir. That makes more sense. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for being here, T. Thank you for being here, T Gato. Appreciate you, yeah, just supporting and being present here, brother. I think at this point, I'm recognizing I'm down to just make a bunch of food and, I don't know, probably do a cold plunge, maybe get ready to go to the gym. I don't know. I think that's probably wise. Harmonize my reality a bit. Yeah. In Japanese, one of my favorite ideas. Oh, bro. So many, dude. But honestly, immediately, like philosophically, I really appreciate, ikigai is something that comes to mind. I really resonate and appreciate ikigai in the nature of what it is, in how it's embodied, how it manifests. It's just an intriguing concept. I like their concept of, what is it? Fixing something with gold. Forget what it's called. That's a cool concept. I really, of course, it's more Chinese, but Taoism. I like Zen Buddha philosophy or Zen philosophy as a whole. So that's a lot of different Eastern cultures. But yeah, it's like I really appreciate Qigong and Tai Chi, like profoundly. I really appreciate Jiu-Jitsu in its Japanese and Brazilian origination, of course. Really into Muay Thai. That's obviously Thailand, more so based or originated. But I don't know. I have a lot of love for all the ways that Japanese culture is just like, I don't know. It's so unique. Like I love sushi naturally. I mean, who doesn't love sushi? But like I don't really eat much. I mean, I don't consider sushi unhealthy food, but if I'm gonna eat out at all, like I don't eat out unless it's like, I don't know, high end restaurants and I'm going on a date or something. But if I'm gonna eat like, casually, it's either gonna be like a smoothie bar or like, sushi or something, because sushi is just dope. Yeah. A researcher of dependence and reliance. Oh, nice. Interesting. Hey, welcome. Welcome, Kate. Blessings from Canada. Yo, I'm Ryan. Yeah, my name is Ryan. Ashay is naturally my moniker. Amazing. Oh, studying in Osaka. Yeah, dude, Osaka seems awesome. I mean, I've only seen like vlogs of like really unhinged YouTubers, namely the one that I gotta say, he's a hilarious dude, and I love the guy. But he's like super unhinged, and he just gets drunk and goes to Osaka and meets all the locals and talks about how much he loves Osaka, and it's so great though. I'm like, bro, I fucking love this. Like, I love seeing all the little food places and all the hospitality of Osaka. It seems cool. But yeah, bro, hell yeah, Osaka, dude. Yeah, it seems great, man. Be good to yourself. Thank you, bro. That means a lot. Leopard prints all day. Nice. Hell yeah, dude. Conjog. Yeah. Jog. Right. I don't know what that means. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you. Magical. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I think we're gonna officially put a close to the stream. I think we're hitting the 4 hour mark. But it's valid. It's been very beautiful, very experimental. I think we have at least like 5, 6 strong clips, which I'm pretty, I don't expect that. But that's beautiful. That's great. Got some dope clips that I think we can transfer into some great content and original songs and journeys and music and whatever. So cool stuff. Didn't expect that. Thank you. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the support, honestly. It's life is a wild flux, and I feel grateful to be on this journey and this quest as a YouTuber, and I feel grateful to be on this journey as a sound healer and a guitarist, and it's always nice to see these things come to a head, and I think YouTube is an interesting reflection of a lot of things in my life that seem to naturally attain alignment. It's like when you see in life, it's like, there's certain things that are about alignment, right? It's alignment can happen very rapidly. We're like, oh, this is what I'm meant to do, or who I'm meant to be with, or what I'm meant to be and doing. And yeah, I think YouTube is a very natural alignment. So it's very great. It's great. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. We'll do our outro. Yeah, feel free to subscribe to this channel if you are not. I do meditative sound journeys. I teach guitar, among various types of YouTuber stuff. I do like live busking sessions and leading to a lot of different stuff. But yeah, if that resonates, feel free to follow this channel. Yeah, very much. Deeply appreciate the support. Hope you guys have a great day and a great night and a great life, as Wim Hof would say. Yeah. Bless. And if you feel so inclined, I have a Ko-Fi. We advertised before, but Ko-Fi. Super dope platform. Just a tipping platform that doesn't gank the 30% off the overhead. If you feel so inclined, no pressure, no expectation, but Ko-Fi, Ko-Fi-A-S-E. It's Ko-Fi A-S-E, a shade but no symbolism. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. Remember to honor yourself and to honor each other, and we'll see you guys soon in the next episode. Bless. Oh, trying to find this baby. Beautiful. Ashe. Bless. Thank you, OPT. Appreciate you, brother. Be well.